Добрый вечер, уважаемые телезрители. В эфире телеканала Медиаинформ, программа «Мы с Михайлом Кациним». Я с удовольствием представляю вам моего сегодняшнего гостя из Соединенных Штатов Америки по видеосвязи. Это писатель Аарон Шарпантьєр. Aaron, do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we started already, so I just introduced you to the audience. And we will do the following way. You will answer in English, and basically I will translate. You know, I don't have an assistant, so I will serve a translator. Уважаемые телезрители, мы будем говорить и на английском, и я буду переводить на русский, поэтому я думаю, будет интересно. Okay, Aaron, so I would like to ask you to be succinct in your answers so we can communicate a lot and address many questions. Aaron, you are a novelist, yeah? As a novelist, how do you think, does the globalization now in the crisis after the coronavirus?
I mean, how does it affect me as my thinking? Hello?
Yeah. Aaron, what do you think? How coronavirus affects globalization? Do you think that now globalization as the trend is in crisis?
Yeah, I do. I think so. Even before the pandemic, many turning away from globalization. You see the Brexit, right? Permanent administration is moving inward, right? And not sure how yet. I think it's too early, but that especially with the people makes sense. But I think people will less likely travel and go overseas. But yeah, it's just too early to tell.
Да, я думаю, что глобализация, да, я спросил господина Шарпантьера, как он считает, находится ли глобализация в кризисе. Он сказал, да, он согласен с этим, люди стали меньше ездить, произошел Брексит, люди, безусловно, испытывают на себе последствия коронавируса и в целом пандемии. Aaron, the novelist in 21st century, in the century when there is an internet, there are social media, and there are basically many sources of information. Why do you think the novels still are very important in the life of ordinary people? Why do you think that the literature still, let's say, compatible with the new social media and other sources of information which basically people use nowadays?
Well, a lot of the closing down these days. A lot of bookstores are down these. Americans are still reading and buying books for pleasure. They still use, even though they're increasingly using computers. But sometimes people just like to hold the book. Something physical. It's it's more of an experience than you would have just reading an ebook. So I think that the way that books are sold changed, and it will change even more so in the future. I think eventually more and more libraries are used for, people use the computers at libraries. They use they use it to also to like look, in the back rooms to get together and talk and things like that. People still take books out, and people also take out movies. But again, people still take books out of the library, and I don't think that they'll close down anytime soon, but eventually they'll slowly disappear, and I guess they'll probably use. But again, I don't think that we'll see that in at least my lifetime.
Да,
So I think, and I think that the purpose of books. So that's, I explained more of the role that books play, but I think that the purpose of books is still very important, and people still need to, usually on the internet you can just get pieces of information here and there, and then it's usually people who aren't, don't have a lot of knowledge on certain topics, or they don't, they're not professional writers, or they're not writers who spend a significant amount of time on certain topics. So, I think that reading books is still valid. I think novels are, when people read novels, they're able to look at the world in a different way, right? They're able to visualize different issues in a different way. So I think that I think that books are still valuable.
thank
Novels
you,
still
thank you.
matter, as they say.
Thank you, Aaron. Я задал вопрос роли книги, сохраняет ли она всю ту же актуальность в эпоху социальных сетей, интернета и прочее. И господин Шарпантьєр считает, что, безусловно, книга сохраняет свою актуальность. Это, прежде всего, источник, который помогает взглянуть на мир с разных точек зрения. Это источник информации, который носит комплексный характер, и этим самым отличается от тех источников информации, которые возникли за последнее время, хотя, безусловно, наблюдается постепенно кризис библиотеки и библиотек, и люди уходят больше в дигитальную форму коммуникации и получения информации, конечно же, в каком-то среднесрочном промежутке времени библиотеки и книги, они вот отойдут на второй, третий план. Aaron?
Yes.
You've been you have lived in Ukraine for about 1 year.
About a year and 4 months.
Okay, 1 year and 4 months. Tell me, please, your impressions about Ukraine as American, and what do you think? Did you actually understand Ukrainian people?
I think I was getting there, but I think it takes about 2 years to really understand a country and its people. I think, but again, a year and 4 months is pretty close. I think the next time that I go back, well, I don't know how long I'll be there, but I definitely like to return, because not only did I like the culture, but I think that I needed more time to really understand Ukraine and Ukrainians. But I had a good impression of Ukraine within that year and 4 months. I find Ukrainians cultured. They know a lot about their history, literature, classical music. They even attend the opera on occasion.
What is the main difference between Ukrainians and Americans, in your opinion?
The difference?
Between Americans and Ukrainians, in your opinion?
The difference between any country and culture always has to do with the economy of that country, because I think that shapes a country. I think the technology, but of course Ukraine, has the same technology as America, of course, and the history, right? So I think history, and I would say, our economies are very different. So I think that shapes people's thinking.
But generally, if you assess, let's say, Ukrainians and compare them to Americans,
Yeah.
who are happier people, Americans or Ukrainians?
I would say Americans, but I think these days I don't think that Americans are very happy these days with the pandemic. But I don't think anyone around the world really is, right? But I think that, generally speaking, I think Americans.
Why?
And I think, again, I think that we have a lot more autonomy. We don't have a big country like Russia getting into our business, and I think that Ukrainians struggle a lot more economically. So
Я задал вопрос господину Шарпантьеру о его впечатлениях об Украине, когда он посещал нашу страну. Он считает украинцев очень культурными, прогрессивными людьми, которые, безусловно, не чужды и опера, и классическая музыка. И он считает, что, конечно же, украинцы не настолько счастливы, как американцы, просто в силу экономического и технологического развития. И, конечно, украинцам не повезло то, что рядом находится Россия, которая сует нос в их дела. И в этом смысле вот Америка чувствует себя более уверенно, поскольку нету подобного соседа рядом. Aaron,
yeah.
What do you think? Is it possible for a person who does not have talent, let's say, to become a writer or some other talents, to master these talents through very hardships, through hard work? Yeah. Is it possible to master some skills without having a specific talent?
Well, I think that you have to have some for instance, with as a writer, I wasn't very good at writing at the beginning, and then after working, but I was creative, and I had some other things that helped me become better at writing. But I mean, I had to actually practice writing and write a lot before I became good at it. And I literally just worked and really hard at it. Just literally read and wrote.
So the talent is not so important. So the talent is not so important as the mode of the work. Yeah, how much effort do you put into it?
Yeah, I mean, because everything requires a lot of effort, right? Great effort. But now when I before I wasn't able to put whatever I was thinking onto paper. It almost felt like a struggle. But now, I mean, I could just sometimes when I'm just walking down the street, things come to me, and I can even visualize the words almost in my head. I can just even see and just almost it's just almost natural. But that's because I had to read and write for literally thousands and thousands of hours. But again, I had other, wasn't my, I wasn't a good writer initially. But I mean, I had a good memory. Writers are usually have a good memory. I was, as I said, I was creative, and and I kind of was good with words, but I just wasn't able to really write it in a way that was I wasn't able to organize those words though. So again, it just took just constant reading and writing, and it to the point where it literally became the only thing I did almost.
Я задал вопрос нашему гостю, что важнее, талант либо трудоголизм в процессе постижения того или иного навыка, в том числе навыка письма. Наш гость считает, что, безусловно, письмо, безусловно, трудолюбие играет очень важное значение, и только путем постоянного и чтения, и письма можно достичь способности не просто визуализировать какие-то мысли, но и умения их переложить на бумагу. И, конечно, здесь очень важно прикладывать серьезные усилия. Aaron, when we're talking about writers, one thing which I find crucially important is that the writer basically has to go through many hardships in life, and only after the writer understands the life modes, how the life actually evolves, then he can start writing. What do you think? Is it important for a writer to walk through different situations in life, hardships, to get the point?
Well, I don't think it's necessary, but I think I think that a great number of writers have had a difficult life or were struggling with something, and I think I think suffering generally makes people a better writer, but I'm sure not all. But especially the writers especially the kinds of books that I write are about suffering. So I mean, I don't think that I could write books like that if I had a very easy life.
Я считаю, что я задал вопрос Аарону, и является ли необходимым для писателя пройти через череду трудностей, череду сложных моментов в жизни. По его мнению, это не является обязательным, но, конечно, исходя из его опыта, как раз те трудности в жизни, которые он пережил, сподвигли его именно к писательскому труду и к тем сюжетам, которые он как раз описывает в своих произведениях. Aaron, United States now in the process of electing the new president who will substitute Trump in the presidential office, or maybe Trump will be re-elected. As far as I remember, you were one among many critics of Trump administration, and after 4 years of Trump's being a president in the United States, do you still find him lacking the proper fitness to be a president, or now you reassessed your point of view?
Well, I mean, there are really just too many things to cover. We can focus on the pandemic, for instance. If you look at the way Trump's handled the pandemic, he should have started a lot of the he should have started a lot of the rules and regulations and a lot earlier than he did. And I think that now our country's suffering because of that, and with the way that he's mismanaging this crisis. Hospitals and other health facilities don't even have basic supplies. And I mean, the richest country in the world, and we don't even have enough masks and gowns and things like that. I mean, that's just it's just unbelievable. And he's not even setting an example by at least wearing a mask and showing the people that you know, he's doing what he expects us to do. But yeah, and now, you know, a lot of Americans are still sick and dying, and now he's opening up the country again, and it's just a catastrophe. I just can't imagine anyone doing a worse job. It's just unbelievable.
Я задал вопрос Аарону о его отношении к Дональду Трампу, учитывая то, что это выборный год в Америке. Он критически был настроен к господину Трампу еще 4 года назад, во время предыдущей кампании. Он считает, что это достаточно комплексный разговор, но если взять хотя бы последние события вокруг пандемии, Трамп себя показал неэффективным управленцем. Более того, он сам же нарушает те предписания, которые выдвигают эпидемиологи в Соединенных Штатах Америки, например, не носят маску, хотя требуют это от людей. И это дико наблюдать, как Америка, будучи самой богатой страной в мире, не имеет достаточно масок, не имеет достаточно оборудования с тем, чтобы сдержать пандемию. И сейчас, когда по-прежнему очень много американцев находится при смерти, либо болеют от этого вируса, он открывает страну, то есть он тем самым демонстрирует свою некомпетентность. Yeah.
You know, he should have shut down the country a long time ago, and he didn't. And he didn't shut it down the right way. And I won't just blame him. I think a lot of, you know, too many Americans, especially in my city, aren't wearing masks. You know, they're not. Some aren't respecting the 6 feet social distancing, and it's just it's a mess.
И более того, Аарон считает, что господин Трамп должен был закрыть страну раньше с тем, чтобы сдержать развитие пандемии. Aaron, I would like to ask you the last question.
Let me just finish on this point, though.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I lost my thought now. What was I going to say? It's okay. Go ahead.
Aaron, last question which I would like you to address. Do you think that democracy is the best form of the government, the best form of the governance?
I think it's the best form of government for America. I think it's the best form of government for Ukraine. But I think, so Chinese socialism is working for China. And, China's doing
so am I
well.
right? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Am I right? You think that it's so for its country, the specific system fits better, and you can't, let's say, impose and you can't force another country to follow the particular system of governance. Yeah, it has to be natural.
Yes, that's right. Because I mean, every country has its own history, its own traditions, its own way of thinking, and I think that I think that my country pushes its ideas and form of government on too many countries, and I think that it's in some cases it's okay if that country has a dictator or in some instances, but in other instances just because that country has a different system than our system, then well.
Yeah, but Aaron, let me contradict you. If you take, for instance, Libya example or Iraq, the fact that the United States interfered in the situations which were there, even though there was a violation of human rights, the history of the last, let's say, decade showed that these countries are actually now in a very bad shape and they are in crisis. So maybe authoritarian government was the best for them, and the United States had to, let's say, abstain from interfering in the situation in these countries.
Oh, I agree with Iraq. I agree. We should have never gone into Iraq. So there are even some instances that I would say that we should still stay out of that country and not interfere. Like I said, it depends on the country.
Я задал вопрос Аарону о том, является ли демократия наилучшей формой правления. Он считает, что каждой стране свойственна своя форма правления, и нельзя навязывать искусственно этой стране какую-либо форму правления. Если, например, для Украины или Соединенных Штатов Америки демократия – это лучшая форма правления, то в то же время для того же Китая, например, китайская модель, она более органична, и она обеспечивает успех. И, конечно, ошибкой Соединенных Штатов Америки было, в частности, вторжение в Ирак, и прошедшая история, она показала как раз и обнажила всю ошибочность политики тогдашнего американского руководства. Aaron, thank you very much for joining our channel. We appreciate this, and I would like to remind for my audience that today we hosted Aaron Шарпантьєр, American writer and novelist. Аарон, спасибо большое, что сегодня присоединился к студии Медиаинформа. Напомню для наших телезрителей, сегодня с нами по видеосвязи с Соединенных Штатов Америки был писатель, американский писатель Аарон Шарпантьєр. Оставайтесь на Медиаинформе.